And we are live. What's going on, everybody? Woo! MMA Uncensored, back at it again. I'm messing around with these tabs. Bear with me for just a moment. I got to pull these things up. Let me know how the sound is coming in, because I have set up a very janky system, and I'm not sure if it's coming in okay or not. Let's see. This is going to be really irritating for about 3 seconds while I figure this out. I am on the road, but still trying to fulfill my duties. Beautiful. That's going to reverb in a little bit. All right, what's going on, guys? Ben the Bane Davis here for MMA Uncensored, and we've got some UFC 294 recaps that we just have to dig into. Guys, we have to dig right into it with a big-ass shovel. Let me plug this old cellular device back in. There we go. It was dying. I'll get into why my phone was dying in just a moment, but Islam Makhachev and Alexander Volkanovski. Who predicted this? Show me one person. Raise your hand. DM me, email me, shoot me a text. Did you see this happening or not? That is the optimal question here. And fellas, I did not see this happening. I didn't see it happening. KOing Volk in the first round, less than 5 minutes needed. 3. It was practically right after that third minute had transpired in round 1, was that beautiful lead head kick. And I'm not saying Volk, he didn't lean into it necessarily. That's not what I'm saying. But it just, his hands weren't up. I think he was expecting it to come a little bit lower, maybe a body kick. Islam did a ton of great body work in their first fight. So maybe he anticipated something going downstairs and just clipped him in the dome, and that was it. I've never seen somebody damage Volk like that on the feet. I've never seen it. Chad Mendez dropped Alexander Volkanovski, but Volk popped right back up with swinging hammers. Didn't seem like he was all that discombobulated. When Max Holloway dropped Volkanovski, I think he dropped him twice, right? It was the head kick and then the uppercut. Neither of those times we saw Volkanovski as damaged, as out of it, as done as that head kick from Islam Makhachev. Here's the question that I have, though. Are we attributing this to the lack of a fight camp? Are we attributing it to the 12 days? Is that what we're saying? Are we suggesting that the week and a half notice is what led to this knockout? If it led to a loss, that's one thing. But a bad knockout like that, where his head's getting ping-ponged off the ground over and over, I don't know. Or is it just Islam is that good? Is that what we take away here? Because you don't want to discredit Islam Makhachev. And these two have a lot of respect for one another. Let's look at their social media interactions before and after the fight. It's all respect between these two. I know that the fan bases and the community is a bit split, and there has been a lot of hostility, but let's also remember a lot of respect and love between the two people in the ring. And here's the statistics. Total strikes, 11 for Volkanovski, 39 for Makhachev. Significant strikes. Volk only had 4 significant strikes. For the number 1 or number 2 pound for pound guy, I can't remember where he was ranked heading into that. 4 strikes. That's unreal. JN saying it's an early stoppage. Good question. Is that the consensus here? Do we think that the fight should have gone longer? I don't think it was early. I don't think it was an early stoppage. That's my take on it. Volk looked out of there. He wasn't protesting. I really didn't like the body language, the reaction to those shots, the follow-up ground and pound from Islam. Volk looked done, guys. He looked absolutely done. If it went longer, I feel like he would have just taken more damage. And at 35, let's not forget, Volk's not exactly an up-and-comer. He's been on the top of the hill. He's been the king for a significant period of time. So I'd want him to take as little damage as possible. Because, again, remember, he is the defending undisputed featherweight champion. We don't want to impact his success at 145 by some serious permanent damage at 155. And who knows, maybe he'll come back. Give me just a moment. I have to go get my dog. You guys get to meet my wiener dog, which is the true hunter. Oh, hello. Hello. This is Delilah. She gets anxiety, and currently it's just me and her, and she was downstairs. She's too small to climb stairs by herself, so she needs assistance. um, but we're gonna have her here for the rest of the recap and breakdown. JN with another excellent question: will Volk fight in January or take time off? I know the answer is he should, but what is he likely to do? I think we're both on the same page here with what he should do. The conventional wisdom and advice is pump that back. Hell, if they want to do an interim featherweight belt and do Ilia Topuria and Holloway, or Ilia Topuria and maybe Barboza, that'd be funny. I know Edson's still a little bit deeper in those rankings and hasn't exactly put together a run of sorts, but he does have back-to-back wins and over Sadiq Youssef and my boy Billy Quarantillo. I wouldn't mind him getting a interim title shot. No, I think that he shouldn't fight, and JNU and I are on the same page with it. But like he said in the post-fight presser, one of the big reasons he took this fight against Islam was because he was in a dark place, because he felt purposeless without a fight camp and without a title defense or a champ opportunity, which is really concerning to hear. That is really concerning to hear. I think a guy who is on top of the world like Alexander Volkanovski is, if that's how he feels, and again, I want to include this as well. I think we all struggle with mental health. I certainly have a lot of my own issues that I work through on a daily basis, but putting yourself in harm's way in a disadvantageous fight where there is a lot up for grabs and a lot on the line. And again, you don't play fighting, man. This is what happens. You get knocked the fuck out, and that could really spell disaster for a lot of other things. What if Volk fights in January, gets knocked out by Ilia Topuria, tries to stage a comeback, gets knocked out again? Or, I'm not saying Renan Barão, gang, let's not jump there. I'm not saying Renan Barão, but he's not young. He's mid-30s, I think 35 or 36, right? So he takes a couple, losses, a few more stoppages. Could that be it? Is that the last we see of Alexander Volkanovski if he chooses to remain as active as he is, despite the TKO setback? So I don't know. I think he might. I think that he might consider hopping in there in January. And genuinely, I think that he could beat Ilia. I think Volk is better in every single category. Ilia's got a lot of power. I'll include that, and to his credit, Ilia can knock out a dump truck. I mean, if he lands those hooks on any living creature, it will stop them. JN, cover curse is real. Prime athlete curse confirmed. That's the thing. Yeah, no, it's the double whammy. I mean, imagine you had you're on the UFC's cover, you're a prime sponsored athlete, and then also Drake bets on you, and then fuck it, you get a haircut while they're filming Embedded. that would be the first death we see in the octagon. That would be the first this guy died. He was so fucking cursed that a ton of bricks fell on him during the walkout, and he just died. He's gone. The cover curse, the Drake curse, the haircut, the prime, it all was too much. He had a heart attack in the back and imploded. No, it is funny that the cover curse remains true. I got to imagine that the athletes are aware of this as well, like the memes and the jokes that we create in the community. Like if they if they approached a champion and they were like, "Hey man, we're super excited to put you on the cover of EA UFC 6." Woo! UFC 6, you're on the cover. If I'm an athlete at this point or a champion, I would honestly probably be like, "No, can you not do that? Can you please not do that?" I don't know. What would you do, Jan, or anyone else? Like, would you choose to be on the cover, or would you say this is a real curse? I just cracked open a bottle of Chianti. I should have let it breathe. I should have let it breathe. I just, you know what? I learned about decanters the other day, and when I say learned about, I was aware of their existence and the purpose. But I'm more intrigued in using a decanter now. And the question that I have is, how long can you leave wine sitting in a decanter? What's the limit here? Are we talking an afternoon? Are we talking 2 3 days? Are we talking a month? How long can I just have this fucking sitting on my counter? Uh, Getting oxygen. You know, how much oxygen can I pump in this wine? At what point does it evaporate? At what point is the decanter you look over and you're like, it's been a week. I'm sure that the wine tastes great. It's been in this decanter for so long. At what point do you look over and you're like, it's gone. It all evaporated. My Chianti is with the molecules in the air right now. like like when is it? I don't know. I've never used one. I'm curious. But no, getting back to the card. So that's the main event, right? Makachev defeats Volkanovski via first round knockout. A really tough pill to swallow. And I'm going to include this, before we get too deep in the card. I didn't watch it. I did not watch UFC 294. Now, before you go and you say, Ben, what the fuck? I was commentating. As you guys know, I'm a play-by-play commentator, and I had a show in Queens, New York called Flex Fight Series. So I had a 27 fight card that I was commentating. It was 11 hours of broadcasting. I was not, wasn't the happiest of campers. But that's why I missed UFC 294 is, again, my events typically fall on Saturdays, nature of the beast. But I kept getting push notifications. I kept getting these, texts or updates. And guys, when I tell you, like, the shock that I had when I got the ESPN notification that Makhachev knocked out Volk. And then in between fights, I pulled up the replay and looked at it. I was stunned. It felt so surreal. It felt so surreal. Like, again, their last fight, it was a really good back and forth. Makhachev edges it out. And then just nukes him instantly in this one. Like, I was stunned. And we were doing a Halloween party. That was the theme for Flex Fight Series 28. And so, like, I saw Volk getting knocked out. I looked up, and there's just a kid in a full Pennywise makeup and outfit sitting in front of me. And I was like, where the fuck am I right now? But that is, so if I do seem a little bit not as informed on 294, that is why. However, I did watch Kamaru Usman and Khamzat Chimaev. I think I watched the last 10-ish, 15 minutes. We had an intermission, so I did pull it up. And boy, what a dog fight that turned out to be. Very tough first round for Kamaru Usman. I mean, the Nigerian Nightmare nearly got put to sleep, maybe. I mean, there's some disadvantageous spots for sure, getting flattened out. Chimaev control time. People saying 10-8. Kamaru Usman has only lost a handful of rounds in the last 5 or 6 years. A handful of rounds. He has been dominant. And to see, or rather, again, to hear someone 10-8ing him, especially in the first round, is unbelievable. Khamzat Chimaev goes 4 for 12 on takedowns. Usman 0 for 1. Can't get the Wolf down. No easy task right there. But that third round, right? That second and third round, I'm seeing a lot of split. I had a couple people scoring it as a draw. I saw a couple people scoring it for Kamaru Usman. And then I saw one person, my guy Jake Noker, him and I are at the Scrap News together, and he does some great work. He scored it 30-26, Khamzat Chimaev, and I saw some people roasting him a little bit online. So it was all over the place with the scoring. I mean, we had a lot of different takes and dissections from it. But the big thing that I feel like needs to be stated is Kamaru Usman stepping up on, like, again, 10 days notice, fighting the boogeyman of these bigger weight classes in Khamzat Chimaev, taking him to the scorecards, throwing heat at him. If this was 5 rounds, correct me if I'm wrong, if this was 5 rounds, kind of feels like Usman would have gotten it done. Kind of feels like Kamaru would have taken over in the 4th and 5th. And granted, Chimaev's hand was broken, I believe, in that first round. He cracked it. Unsure if it was a punch or a sequence and a takedown. God knows what. But he was being affected by a broken hand, which led to maybe some of Usman's success or opportunity to capitalize. But man, if it was 5 rounds, and that's what Usman was saying. He was like, I wish I had those 2 extra. He had the opportunity. He said no. And I'm not saying regret. I'm not saying that Kamaru should regret that decision, because it's a smart choice. Do I take a 25-minute potential fight on 10 days' notice when I haven't had a camp. I'm sure he's training. He's always training. He's a professional. But 5 rounds, some people spend their entire careers and never get to 5-round fights, right? Some people take 12-week camps to prep for 5-round fights or even longer. Usman's probably had long camps for some of his title defenses, you know? So I get the thinking here of not wanting to accept a 5-rounder on 10 days notice. But yeah, hindsight is 2020. Last thing about this co-main event, Khamzat versus Abus Magomedov will be a chaotic first round. Yeah, I mean, it'd be a barn burner up until Abus's cardio goes. and then he gets smashed. He gets smashed into a literal pulp. But Chimaev's cardio, you know, this is kind of the second time that I think we are seeing Khamzat Chimaev human. Gilbert Burns really outlasted him, stood, traded, did all of the good godly work that Gilbert did. And we saw Chimaev fading in that third and final round of that fight. Feels like we saw Chimaev fading in third and final round of this fight. So when we think about what's next, I mean, Chimaev versus Strickland, I don't think so. I'm sorry, Khamzat. You beat a welterweight. One of the best welterweights of all time, guys. Let's give him credit, but you beat a fucking welterweight. Dricus du Plessis took out Robert Whittaker, the number one contender. Full camp, Robert Whittaker. You know, Robert Whittaker on a run. Whittaker coming off of Vittori, Cannonier. Dangerous Robert Whittaker. DDP gets him out of there, you know. So I think in terms of who's next for the title, it has to be Dricus du Plessis. I love it. Rhymed. I don't like the narrative here of Chimaev chirping at Sean Strickland when he's showing some cardio issues. And unless he can get Strickland out of there in the first round, which I don't think he'd be able to do, I don't see him winning that fight. I think Sean takes over. I think Sean shuts him down just like he shut down Israel Adesanya. I think it would be that level of a tactical performance. And granted, like, I'm not saying Sean's superhuman, but Khamzat Chimaev, when he's kind of put up against these upper echelon guys, has seriously struggled. You know, I mean, if you look at the resume of Chimaev, let's just dance real quick into some of his past performances. 2022, it was Kevin Holland, who I think just got back into the top 15, subbed him instantly. Before that, Gilbert Burns, tough back and forth dogfight. And then before that, the Leech, Li Jingliang, was able to sub him instantly. And that's a great win. I mean, not shitting on the Leech at all in any way, shape, or form, but I don't think that he's ranked super high at welterweight. You know, before that, Gerald Mearshart. I love GM3. Gerald's a great dude, but again, not a top 15 guy. Before that, Reese McKee. Before that, John Phillips. Like, Khamzat Chimaev looks superhuman against guys that aren't making waves in the division, in the top 5. When he gets against those people, he looks good, but I don't think he looks great, does he not? I mean, that's the thinking that I'm employing here is, you know, if you fight a guy like the champion, and you're having these close performances where you're getting cracked, you're breaking bones, you're gassing out, I don't think it works, man. I don't think that leads to a championship. And I tweeted out instantly after. I didn't watch the fight, but I tweeted out Khamzat Chimaev will be a champion, because I was like, whatever, it'd be a funny tweet. And a lot of people in the comments were like, no, he's not one. So I think that the narrative and the sentiment around Khamzat Chimaev is flipping or evolving, maybe, or just entering a new chapter of understanding of his ceiling. I'm not saying that he can't be a champ, but I'm just saying he shouldn't be fighting the champ. JN Khamzat versus Cannonier makes sense. I like that. I mean, honestly, Khamzat versus Marvin Vittori, I wouldn't hate that one. You know, I think Cannonier versus Whittaker 2, or Cannonier versus maybe another lower outside the top 5 guy makes sense as well. I wouldn't hate that fight. Chimaev versus Paulo Costa, the fight that was supposed to happen, a true natural 185er. And I'm not shitting on Paulo. I wouldn't do it because that staph infection was nasty. That was a nasty staph infection. I get why you couldn't make the fight. I get why you had to pull out. This does add to the weird career of Paulo Costa, though. I mean, remember how he was supposed to fight Ikram Aliskerov, who we will get to in a moment. And then like a day or two before the card, that fight was canceled because he never signed. I never signed that contract. And maybe he didn't. You know, I know that the UFC on several occasions has done this before where they'll strong arm somebody, right? We've announced the fight. Now you have to take it. We've promoted the fight. Now you have to take it. Or else you look bad in the court of public opinion. So, you know, maybe that one's not on Paulo Costa, right? Maybe that's on the UFC and their business practices. But it either way does add to this weird career that he's had in the UFC. But Chimaev versus Costa, if they rebook that for February or maybe March even, you know, I'd be okay with that late. Give Chimaev some time to heal up. I don't know if he needs surgery. I don't know if he needs you know, some sort of recovery from a broken hand. I mean, how broken is it? Do we know how damaged it is? Does he need surgery? How can we get Chimaev back in the cage as quickly as possible? That's the question. And against who? Better question. I like Paulo Costa. I think we rebooked that fight. I'm not sure where. Have they released the rankings? Do we know where they put either guy at the weight class? And same thing. I mean, what do you do with Kamaru Usman now? Usman looked good. I wouldn't mind seeing Kamaru Usman versus Whitaker. Wouldn't that be great? Usman versus Whitaker, champ on champ action. You know, two guys who were at the top of their respective divisions for a while, now entering a weird period of their careers without the belts. I think that'd be a fun fight. Or Usman versus who's another 85er? That would be fun. Cannonier, you could do Cannonier versus anybody and probably be a good fight. That guy comes to bang. That guy comes to play. Let me pull up. I'm sitting a ways away. Now I got my dog on my lap. I can't pull it up. Whatever. I think there's a lot of potential for Usman at 185. He's not depleting himself. Maybe that helps out with, you know, his knees and his body, his durability. And again, on a full camp, I mean, here's the question. Let's return to it for that main and co-main. On a full camp, are these decisions different? On a full camp, are the results changed? Does Volk become double champ? Does Usman spoil the middleweight debut of Khamzat Chimaev and take his undefeated record? You know, I think that's the question. And I given how the fight went and what people are saying, especially if it was 2 extra rounds, think he does. So I think he belongs up there in the top. And I think you could give Kamaru Usman a big fight after this, you know. Definitely a top 5 matchup in middleweight if he wants it. I think he could return to 170 as well. You know, there's the the Shavkat fight would be interesting. I think you've got Ian Gary as well, who would probably be chomping at the bit to fight Usman, because Usman's still ranked. I'm 90% sure that Usman's still in the top 2 or 3 of the division at welterweight. So there's value. There's moves that all 4 of those top fighters at the top of UFC 294 can make. Let's move a little bit deeper. Aisha Jain, I've seen some questions about whether the hand is broken. Khamzat was hanging with that dictator dude after the fight. Didn't have wraps or a swollen hand. Boys, let's slap the tinfoil back upstairs. Is he broken or not? Is the hand broken, or is he playing the games? That's interesting. Yeah, Kadyrov, I think is the dictator's name. I will avoid putting out a public opinion on that. I like my life. Next fight on the billing, Johnny Walker and Magomed Ankalaev find themselves in a no contest, or a draw rather, in round number 1. Ank shoots with a illegal knee to the face. The doctor asks Walker, "Hey, what country are you in? He says, actually, I don't think he answered, right? Isn't that what it was? He wanted to say, we're in the desert. And the doctor calls it off. Again, I didn't see this sequence. However, this doctor sounds like he's on his way to retirement. He should not be working mixed martial arts events. Because, again, Johnny Walker's first language is not English. So get the Portuguese translator in there. Give him some more time. I think an illegal knee to the face, that's 5 minutes. Is it 5 minutes? I don't know. I just don't like especially with how Johnny Walker is just standing there trying to be receptive, trying to communicate. And you just wave the fight off. What the fuck are you doing? And from what I remember, there was another fight. I think it was the Muhammad Naimov and Nate Wood fight. No, that was like Lucas Brzeski, or I'm butchering that referee's name, but he's the bald guy with the facial that looks like Volkan Oezdemir. Maybe it was the same ref. Someone can inform me. But yeah, I don't understand what that SOP looks like and how it changes, because a lot of referees approach illegal knees to the face in a lot of different ways. And I think that some standardization could be incredibly helpful, especially for the athletes when they are in situations where, hey, I'm not a English speaker, I'm not a insert language speaker, but I know the process for these illegal knees. It's the same process around the world, so I can just follow suit. And, first question's always going to be, where am I? Cool, I'll have that locked and loaded. But because some people, some people have their own different ways, it leads to this confusion where you've got a Johnny Walker trying to translate in his head what the doctor's saying, and then he waves it off before he is able to do so. Jay, it's not 5 minutes. I guess it's for eye pokes and growing shots. The argument is it takes more than 5 minutes to recover from a concussion. These guys are getting concussed anyways. I mean, they're punching each other in the head. Give them 5 minutes. Give them 5. It's an illegal blow to the head. Let him, shake it out, get the cobwebs off. And if he's answering and he's receptive and he's cognizant, let him go. It was mentioned by Eric McGracken on Twitter. Eric's a great follow. BT Dubs. I think he is the Canadian lawyer. Is his bio, or I might be thinking of another guy. But if it is that guy, he's done a phenomenal breakdown of things like that, rules. He's done a lot of updates on that class action that like 1,200 fighters are suing the UFC for their contract practices. Good shit from Eric. But yeah, that's stupid that they don't have some time, some minutes just to recover a bit, I think that should be a little bit more standardized, that you do have a break. You don't have to get up and then a doctor asking you where you are and then the fight's off. Like, that's just stupid. The City Life Project, dude, what a disgrace of a card. Man, that's what I keep hearing, and I'm disappointed. This was on paper a really fun one, but it just sounds like it didn't follow suit. If you could rate it out of 10, let's rate the card. Out of 10, what would you give it? I feel like the majority of people are in that 3 to 4 range, maybe, with 294. But I swear I'm so done with these garbage rules. No knees to grounded opponents and 10-point must has no place in MMA. I like this. Okay. Here we go. From the City Life Project. No knees to grounded opponents. So I think that the one championship rule set, and obviously if you think back to like Strikeforce and Pride, knees to a grounded opponent should be fine, man. You've got guys that play the game. You've got guys that play the fucking game, and they'll paw the ground and they'll make contact, so they're a grounded opponent. And I'm like, that's stupid. I like Aljamain Sterling. Look at how he defends some strikes and some positions. He's just turtling on the ground. It looks dumb. Soccer kicks. Give me soccer kicks. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's make it a little bit more violent. Let's give you some fucking consequences for playing that bullshit game. And I love how some fighters will test it. I love that some fighters will still say, no, I'm throwing the damn strike. You're being stupid. Alexa Grasso, Valentina Shevchenko. No, Shevchenko, you can't play the game. I'm still going to knee you in the head. I think on 294 it happened as well. I'm trying to think to what matchup, but they had that front headlock position, and then, boom, eat a knee. Eat a fucking knee. That's what you get. You're playing dumb games. So I like that. And 10-point must system. I think if 10-10s were more normalized and 10-8s were more normalized. But because of the rule set and I think it's like a page and a half, right? The MMA rules are 10 and a page and a half. That's fucking dumb. But yeah, if you could have some 10-10s, I think that makes a lot of sense. However, that could also maybe lead to some more draws. So I don't know. I see both sides of it, but um 10-8s and hell, even 10-7s, man. Maybe let's introduce a few more 10-7s. Why the fuck not? It happens every card. It does, man. It does. And it's like, you don't want to sound like a broken record. You don't want to beat a dead horse and complain about the same things every single week. I think that is just really redundant. But, you still need to vocalize. You still need to bring up, hey, here is another example of where the sport can be better. And if we're not vocalizing it, if we're not creating dialogue, then it can't get better. Now, it isn't getting better. So even with the amount that we're complaining, right? Even with the amount that we're going, oh, 10-10, grounded opponents, 12-6 elbows, whatever, rule that you want that's illegal now to be legal. Even with the complaining, there's really not that much change. Every card I see positions where guys and gals can finish the fight or add more action with knees, but can't. For me, draws are fine in the world of betting. So how much Jones My Lives makes bank on the draws. Man, I think that, yeah, when you factor in the gambling component, hey, draws, if you're betting on the draw, you're sprinkling on like that, what, plus 2,000? I think it's like plus 2,000 every time that a fight's going to be a draw. And I think you could play the math on it. You look at a lot of women's mixed martial arts bouts and how tight and close these decisions are and how you have that swing back and forth. If you're just betting on the draws, you might be able to make some money. Get your points on 10-point must, though. Yeah, I think there is some validity in establishing this person won that round and this person did not win this round. And while it's not an end all be all answer, but I think verdict and how they have it is effective because you get an aggregate of thousands of people's scorecards essentially, right? And you crunch it out. And so it's not just 29-28, it's 28.5 and 29.7. And I think that if you went a little bit deeper into that and the scoring became a little bit more fluid and dynamic in that sense, and more people were contributing, I think that there you go. You solve some answer. Again, it's not an end all be all. We have to remember we're not trained judges. We aren't going through I think it's called ABC, right? Or ABC commissioning. We're not going through those courses. We're not going through the education that these judges go through. And again, at times I sit and say to myself, are these guys going through education? Are these guys taking classes? Do they fucking know what they're seeing? I ask myself that question a lot, but either way, they are certified and they know more of how the sport's scored, and we as fans don't. So verdict scorecards, that's where the flaw does come in. But man, I find myself agreeing pretty consistently with verdict scorecards a hell of a lot more than the judges a lot of the times, right? I'm a big Ryzen and One guy personally. Yep, I fuck with One. I fuck with One Championship. I like the stuff that they're doing, at least in the cage. I like what they're doing. UFC is the NHL of mixed martial arts for sure. Not denying it. It's not the best league in the world talent-wise, but far from the best as far as consistent, and it has silly rules. Yeah, when you think about it that way, you're right, talent-wise. Talking about the roster, who is the best of the best. The UFC is not concerned with that anymore, which is a bummer. And that's why you see them not get guys like Cedric Doumbé or the Lazy King. Why you have these extended negotiations with Michael Venom Page, who I'm not suggesting that MVP could be a top welterweight in the UFC, but he's one of the biggest free agents on the market. That's why we have these breakdowns with Ngannou. And that's a separate, we know that that's a whole separate story, really, and that there's a lot more layers than just best versus best type narrative. But I agree. I completely agree. One might not be perfect. If a tie goes to a decision in Thailand, they're going to win, but at least it's consistent. Yeah, no one does it perfect. It's not like there's one promotion where they're firing on all cylinders and they're getting everything right. I think that the UFC gets a lot of things right. And obviously they've almost monopolized the market with Bellator exiting soon. You've got PFL and One Championship. PFL and one championship. That's it. That's the only other games in town. I don't like that, but what can you do? You need hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe even billions at this point, to try and rival, to try and usurp the current king. And I don't know, Bane versus Jake Paul for 12-15. Hey, he is talking about an opponent. Who knows? Maybe it is me. No, I'm not fighting Jake Paul. I wish. That'd be a cool payday. I think it'd be a fun fight. He'd probably beat me. He's huge. I think I'm still in the 160s right now. I'm gaining a little bit of weight. My diet's not as disciplined as it was during my fight camp, and I'm drinking a lot more, as you guys can see. But City Life Project, you're right. I don't pretend to be a judge. I just prefer the third round being scored, taken into account more in Rising in one. Yeah, and I think so. That brings up a good point about like not open scoring, but if somebody ends the fight dominant and they end the fight way stronger, I think that there should be some level of incorporation into the judging. It's like this guy barely squeaked out, and maybe he banked the first 2 rounds, but he barely survived that third. You know what I mean? And again, that's why we have the 10-8s and the 10-7s and whatnot. But yeah. I'm becoming less and less of a UFC guy every year, unfortunately. I've been watching my whole life, but when I was a kid, Pride FC was my shit. Personal preference, Asian promotions, and KSW because of steroids. There is one promotion that I wish gets a lot more American media traction or Western media traction. It's Octagon MMA. Dude, I mean, these guys are selling out like 60,000 seat stadiums. They're doing it in gladiator pits in Eastern Europe. And I just don't see them get a lot of play. And maybe that's because of the roster, right? Maybe that's because they don't have these huge superstars that we would know. But yeah, Octagon is fucking ridiculous. I think they're excellent. Dude, I've messaged one of their like production leads about commentary work, and let's just say they're not interested now. But no, they're doing everything right. They're doing everything fucking right. I love the production. I love the finishes. I will say this. The only thing I don't love is the canvas. Is this the one in City Life? Because yeah, I see you. Is this the one with the weird fucking canvas that has like the ethereal coloring and maybe I'm thinking of a different promotion. It's tough for people to legally stream, and these fake ass fans don't want to pay $6 to $10. Exactly, which is why, like, if Octagon could sign up with an Apple TV or a Hulu and get on a streaming service, I think there's big potential. I mean, YouTube TV. No, that's Octagon. Fair. Yeah, fair. I'm like, I love everything about this. They have amazing finishes, but the canvas is an eyesore, bro. It's an eyesore. I can't watch, man. I'm watching for 2 minutes and then the canvas is moving. It's an optical illusion. I'm like, geez, I'm getting lost in the sauce staring at their fucking sponsors. But Octagon is a Czech. Octagon is Kazakhstani. Okay. You know what? It is a bummer that they are the same name outside of one letter, right? the branding, it all boils down to the branding. No, but I think that's the thing. We see Prime TV getting in with one championship. We obviously have ESPN dabbling with PFL and the UFC. I think that you have networks, YouTube TV, Apple TV, Hulu, that maybe want to have combat sports on it, but they're just not educated on the market. And if they pick up an Octagon type show where they're already crushing it from the production value standpoint, it's basically just like a plug and play. Hey, here's our stream. All you need to do is distribute it. I think that it can become huge. I think it become huge because it's already big. It's already big. That's the thing that I like about Octagon. And that's why I think it could rival some of these major promotions. It's already big, but it's still relatively unknown. You can't have, this is my thought. Maybe I'm wrong. You can't have a promotion that starts in the public eye from square one and build up. You can't have that. Because eventually it's just going to be burnt out. But if you already have it built and then you introduce it to the public, people are going to go, "Oh my God, they've got it all figured out." You can't start from scratch these days, right? Everything's judged, and you'll never be on that level. You'll never make it to that level. But yeah, I think Octagon with the right push and right distribution could really be huge. And I definitely am not articulating that correctly. like in my head, there is a much more like nuanced phrasing of construction of a promotion and then presentation to the public eye and why it would work versus not work if you're building. I don't know. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Octagon. Hell yeah, man. We're going to have a fun conversation on the podcast. Yes. Yes. All right. Let's continue. We'll turn the attention back to UFC 294. Ikram Aliskerov picks up another win over Warley Alves. This was a first-round knockout. It was the flying knee, I believe, or flying knee that stunned him and then a follow-up shot put him away, vice versa. Again, unfortunately didn't see it, but Ikram was a guy who I didn't find myself being sold on him, guys. I'm sorry. I know that he has the hype. I know his only loss is to Khamzat Chimaev. I know that, he was booked against Paulo Costa, but his fight against Phil Hawes, I was like, yo, before that knockout, Phil was doing good work, man. Before Phil died, which he has successfully done many times now, he was doing good work. And so I was a little bit less sold on Ikram, but now here and City Life is echoing it. Looked great, got it done, and Warley Alves is a problem. If you aren't he's a great litmus test. 15-7 overall. I remember his fight with Munir Lazez. I think 2 years ago that was 2.5 years ago. I was a big Lazez guy. I thought that he had some real potential, and Warley Alves just body kicked the fuck out of him, blasted his liver into next week, and that was that, So you got to be good to get by Warley, and Ikram finishing him in the first round certainly speaks to that narrative. Now 2 first-round knockouts, good for Ikram. Can't wait to see him again. He might be a true welterweight. What do you think? I think he could drop down. I think so too. I think that if you can, why not? If it's not going to impact your performances, why not head on down? But middleweight being, weak as fuck for him to stay there and in that division, easier path to title. I agree, because it's also about activity. You had a really active champion in Israel Adesanya. You had Alex Pereira, who was really active. You got Sean Strickland, who's active. Dricus du Plessis is active as fuck. Whitaker's active. They're all the top guys are active, right? So to your point, there is a easier pathway. Welterweight, it runs through this gridlock of Colby Covington sitting out. Bilal Muhammad, active, is pretty active, but still sitting out. Burns kind of sitting out. I think, the top 10 welterweights have not fought in the last 6 months, or maybe top 5 haven't fought in the last 6 months. Leon Edwards sitting out after his fight with Kamaru Usman, that trilogy. So I think, if I'm Ikram, maybe I pick up some more wins over these lower-ranked middleweights. And, hey, let's think about it this way. Let's say Ikram Aliskerov gets into the top 10 at middleweight, but he can then parlay that into a top 5 opponent at 170. Right? There's opportunity. It's such a weird division, but welterweight is so log jammed. It's like lightweight. So here's why lightweight for me is different from welterweight. This Chianti's good. I don't know if you guys are red wine drinkers. Let me hear the red wine drinkers in the audience. It's a lot of divorced dads and middle-aged moms that are tuning in. I think that lightweight, the issue is, and I wouldn't even call it an issue because I don't want to frame it as a problem. It's actually a good / funny thing. The new guard can't beat the old guard. Guys, we've got this top few individuals in lightweight that beat the majority of these up-and-comers. You know what I'm saying? Like Gamrot. Gamrot's not getting in there. I don't think Arman Saryukin would beat Dariush. And I think they're booked, right? Isn't Saryukin fighting Dariush in December? Isn't that the fight? I genuinely think Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje might be, and maybe Michael Chandler. I feel like they're beatable by a lot of regard. And you put them against some of the lower top 10 or top 15, they're beatable. But then they still win. They still pick up these wins. Gaethje beat Fiziev. Like I mentioned, Dariush beat Gamrot. Bobby Green beating Grant Dawson not too long ago. This new guard is not up to snuff. But I think it's time that Dustin Poirier to fight an up-and-comer. Come on. Fight an up-and-comer. Or go up to 170, But yeah, that's the difference is like the new guard just hasn't been able to get those old guys at lightweight out of there. Oh, here we go. City Life with the bombs here. He's dropping some nuclear action. Huge Red, Cali Cab, and Vancouver Islands. Island blends are my favorite. Deep cut wine, Oyster Bay rosé. Dude, I think I was having some. I don't know if it was Oyster Bay, but it was some really carbonated rosé last night. Unreal and great for date nights. Oh my God, he knows what a good rosé tastes like. Oh man, the girls love it. The girls love when you're educated on the rosé. That's for sure. I'm so cheap when it comes to shit, man. I'm such a frugal drinker. Cause like for me, this is why I like Stella Rosa a lot. For if I'm drinking like white wines or rosé, I'll just go get some Stella Rosa. Cause again, I like that they mess around with the flavors. I like that they've got peach. I think they've got a pineapple that's pretty good. There's a blueberry. So it's not like a true red. It's not like a true darker wine, but still fruity. I think girls like that. At least the girls that I've messed with, they've all loved the Stella Rosa. It's $13 a bottle USD. Which one's 13? The Oyster Bay? Because I think Stella's like around that too. Stella's like 11 or 10, 11 or 13. Maybe fuck, it might be more. I think Stella Rosé is like $16 actually. Yeah, fuck. DM me the link on Twitter for this $13 bottle that gets the girls going. This is not carbonated. Good. I hated it, bro. I was drinking it last night and I was like, this is not good. I don't like it. I don't like carbonated carbonated alcohol. That's why I drink seltzers here and there super sparingly. I don't enjoy it. I'm like, I just feel bloated. This is why I cut back on beer. I'm like, I just feel bloated. And carbonated rosé, what the fuck are we doing, dude? What are we doing? Carbonated wine? Why carbonate it? Why would you carbonate that? It was not a fun night. I polished off a bottle of Pinot Noir, and then they handed me the carbonated rosé, and I was like, whatever, dude. Craft beer, whiskey, and wine. Craft beer is nothing. I have not developed a palate enough to get the craft beers, the IPAs, the hazies, the sours. I don't know. Something about it, man. Something about it just doesn't taste right to me. I really love the brands. I love like the individualized, appearances of the cans and how much artwork goes into it. And it's a fun community. I mean, hell, there's a reason why there's craft beer like bars and lounges and whatnot. There is a vibrant community that love that type of alcohol. I just don't. Carbonated wines for the uneducated, as GSP would say. Yeah. The uneducated fools. Said Nurmagomedov takes out Muin Gafarov by submission, round number 1. I mean, this was pretty quick, I think, into the fight. And God, can we stop putting Said against? I don't want to call Gafarov lower level. I don't want to say that. It's disparaging. I don't like being disrespectful. But Said should be fighting up, man. That guy should be making a run for the bantamweight title. You know what I'm saying? Not messing around with guys who he's just going to beat easily. I think that's a waste of Said's time. I think it's a waste of our time. And the stats reflect it. Look, Gafarov, he threw 3 strikes, landed 1 of them. Said, 5 strikes on 11 attempts, subbed him instantly. Let's stop this nonsense and push Said to the title. I'm tired of it. Because think about it this way, if let's say Bellator goes down. Let's play some hypotheticals real quick. Bellator goes down. Umar who's the lightweight champ right now? Umar or Usman Nurmagomedov? I think it's Umar. Umar Nurmagomedov comes over, takes over lightweight, as he potentially will. It's very high level. We get 2 Nurmagomedov champs at the same time. Oh my God! I mean, the Dagestani, the Russian audience and fans will lose it, and it introduces a new chapter of Nurmagomedov dominance. Which I think. I mean, I'm torn. I know that we don't like the. I'm not gonna say we don't like this. That'd be that's very like territory. But I know that some people are split on the idea of dominant Dagestanis at the tops of these divisions. But They're talented. They're good fighters. Craft beer and hockey show. But I just posted a series on reviewing the craziest fucking beers ever. I'll tune into that, man. Yeah, I like that. That's what I need to do more of is fucking reviews of shit for my YouTube. Who don't like the crazy shit? But I like West Coast IPAs and barrel aged imperial stouts. I think stouts amber ale, is that what it is? Like red ales or whatever. I've tried those. I haven't hated them before. There's also like one. I don't know if it's an IPA. It's called the Joy Bus. It's like a wheat beer. I'm not sure if it's considered an IPA. But Joy Bus, it's on tap at a lot of places. I enjoy that. Gaffer was a pure striker despite some subs on his resume. Writing was on the wall. Yeah, I mean, we knew it was happening. Usman, okay. Bad. Thank you, JN. UAE Warriors, by the way, was best card last week. I'd say top 5 2023. What? So how is United Arab Emirates Warriors? So UAE Warriors, do they have the same judging that we have with the Yas Island Abu Dhabi cards? Because if UAE Warriors has the same judging and it's excellent, then how are we? Are we getting like the discount guys? Like, how are we ending up with these fucking decisions and some of these referee choices? I'll send you a beer package for coming on the show, brother. I'll list some stuff, and if you're keen, we will hook. Dude, yes, absolutely. Let's set it up. I'd fucking love to, man. It'd be an honor. That's on Fight Pass, right? They got that on Fight Pass. Yeah, I gotta tune into more international, regional work, man, or regional mixed martial arts. I think the main bulk of like what I watch is a lot of South American shows, like FCC in Peru. I've got my eye on them, but it's hard, man. Like especially with how much work I've been able to book this year. A lot of it's on Saturdays, which again is when these fucking shows, pop off. So I'm like, damn, I haven't been able to tune in. But okay, that's the main card. Let's go to the prelims. This one hurt. Oh, this one hurt. Tim Elliott and Muhammad Makayev. Guys, I like Tim a lot. I met him when I was out there in Kansas City training at Glory when it was still Glory at the time. He's such a nice dude. He is a very great guy in person and a hard challenge. He's an awkward fighter. Maybe he's 20-13-1 on his resume, but the dude has had great fights over the years with nothing but the best. I mean, riding the upset of Tagir Ulanbekov. I thought he was going to get it done. I thought he was going to beat Muhammad Makayev. But Makayev's hard, man. He's durable. He's tough. He's gritty. And Elliott had him in some deep submissions, but I just don't think that I don't know. I don't think that he was able to really put the finishing touches on any of them. Makayev's tricky and ultimately gets that sub in round 3. And I know Tim was upset. I texted him, or I DM'd him rather, because this was earlier in the day. This was about noon my time. So I wasn't, I was watching then, watching 294 then, and messaged him. He was doing all right. He was okay. He was like, this is what God wants, God loves, and I'm like, damn, I still feel bad. But yeah, Makayev is such a good prospect. Same thing that I feel about Said Nurmagomedov. Just push him. Just push Makayev. Give him an El Cop next, maybe. Because Cop's coming off of that really competitive back and forth brawl with Daniel DeSantos at 293, whatever the Adesanya and Strickland card was. I think you could do Makayev and Manel Cop. Both guys are big talkers. They love the shit talk. Makayev's undefeated. Starboy feels like he's undefeated mentally, right? That'd be a good banger. Tim Elliott, who I feel for the most. That was the lowest part of the card. Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like everybody wanted him to win, and Tim, Tim was doing good. Tim looked like he belonged in there, which is what's great. Bane, you're crushing it. I know you're busy every weekend because I'm Shimon's fast listener play up. Like, dude, that means the world, man. I appreciate you a ton. Makayev's good, but Tim was playing. It was going to win. He would have won if Herzog, no collusion with UAE, didn't play God. I say the moment Tim got for coverage, then rip after Fox lost. Yeah, it was like a split second, man. I mean, he swam to that side, got the arm triangle, and that was all she wrote. And it was right up against the cage too. So when you think about the defenses to that, there wasn't much that Tim could do. When you get to that stage of the submission, your only option is kind of to tap out, or else you're just going to go to sleep. But it was hard, and honestly, I feel like Tim went for subs too much. Maybe, hey, that might be controversial. Again, I love the guy, but stay on the feet. You've got that awkward striking that catches people at weird angles, and I felt like it was a good back and forth on the stand up, and he didn't need to go for many subs. You didn't need to go and grapple as much as you did. You know. Because we know how hard it is to submit Mikhaev. No one's been able to do it. Jafel Filio had him in that knee bar and was, I mean, shit. Like, how did he not tap, guys? I'm not over this. I'm not over how Muhammad Mikhaev got out of that knee bar. So for Tim Elliott, I would see that and go, yeah, it's going to take a lot to submit this motherfucker. Let's keep it standing. Let me crap him. Crap him. Let me crack him and get a club and sub maybe. Not going strict grappling and trying to get him there. Cop will kill him. Maybe. I mean, Manel Cop is an animal. He's a dog. Doing all leagues channel is a big part of my resume to getting what you're doing. Dude, what do you stream? What are you doing commentary for? Is it combat sports? You doing other esports? Because that's where I started, man. That's what I started out on, was the esports side of things. So I feel you there. I just don't seem to hang with the best. Tim would have won if not for Herzog and if knees were allowed. That was the fight. Yeah, I think that was the fight, right? Where Tim was showing the veteran moves of hey, you want to play stupid games? Here's some stupid prizes, and it's a knee to the head. Tim's a veteran. He's a crafty, wily veteran. And yeah, if knees were allowed, who knows? Muhammad Yahya and Trevor Peek. Trevor Peek is a cool he's a cool action fighter. And correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I wasn't able to watch this one. From what I saw online, they didn't like this matchup for Peek. A lot of people were like, this was a waste of Peek. And I would agree. If you're giving a guy that's going to grapple or not play the action game, then why put him against him? It's like Charles Jourdain. Charles Jourdain is an exciting action fighter. Put him against other fun fighters. Don't put him against guys that are going to grapple, that are going to wrestle. It's I don't want to say it's matchmaking 101 because, everyone's progressing towards the top, and that does bottleneck talent, and you do have to fight those guys if you want to be the best, and everybody here wants to be the best. But for Trevor Peek specifically, put him against a fun striker. Come on, All Combat Sports Talk with Junior Hockey and Hockey Talk Radio in Canada. Left Media Company I helped started and moved to the U.S. to chase the dream. Let's fucking go. I love it, man. Eggs and baskets. Everybody likes to talk about, how you can't count the chickens before they hatch, how you can't put eggs in one singular basket. I think that there is some validity, but if you're really chasing the dreams, you're all in, man. You're all in. You're 2 feet deep. You're diving in with both hands and your head. You can't be putting eggs in that other basket, because then it's like, well, you're already failing mentally. You already lost. Already fucking lost. Javid Basharat and Victor Henry. This was no contest. And I will say this, guys, I don't like being opinionated. I don't like being opinionated too often in negative senses. But Javid Basharat has greatly disappointed me this week because he has been kind of discounting Victor Henry, saying that, it was not a low blow. That's what he's been maintaining. Yeah, it wasn't a low blow. I didn't kick him in the nuts. We have evidence. And if Victor's backstage throwing up, if Victor's testicles are swollen, and Josh Barnett is personally saying, yo, we're at the hospital, he's not in great shape, your response should not be to go back and forth disqualifying Victor's pain and the state that Victor was in. It was a great fight, tough moment for everybody, but have some grace in that. It was a no contest. It was a tough sequence, and everybody loses, right? But being a dick gets you nowhere. Being a dick loses you fans, man. And I don't know. I mean, a lot of people are, not a lot of people, maybe. I've seen some people that are saying, oh, Victor Henry, it wasn't a low blow. You don't fucking know what it was. it doesn't take much, man, to jostle the cup and really impact and disrupt the growing area. You know what I'm saying? And these guys are throwing fastballs with every punch and every kick. So I don't know. I really, that's the great point. City Life Project. Grace. Have some fucking grace. And I'd like you more. You'd make more of a fan of me. I like the Snow Leopard, Javid Basharat, and his brother. I like the Bash Bros. But it was very frustrating to see that dialogue, because in my head, I'm going, you're in Abu Dhabi. You just came off of a UFC fight. And instead of maybe going out celebrating the completion of a fight camp, and again, it wasn't a win, but hey, it also wasn't a loss. Instead of that, you're sitting there going back and forth with Josh Barnett saying that your opponent was not kicked in the nuts and is lying about that. Really? Really? What are you doing? The fuck are you doing? So it's frustrating. When we're starting out, so we are is rising is awesome and inspiring. Hey, we all do it. We all do it for the love of the game, baby. It's like if Andrade said Lineker's broken cup after the knee is fake. Exactly, dude. 100%. Like it feels bad for him. Have grace. Being a dick loses you fans unless you're a cop. Unless you're a cop, but then even still, I mean, I feel like Manel's done some damage to the brand, saying the homophobic slurs that he does in post-fight interviews and on Twitter. I don't like that. I mean, as someone who's like, in the community, I'm like, listen, I like you as a fighter. I like your personality. Please stop. You don't need that language. It doesn't do anybody any favors. He used to wear shoes and rise and fight. They had to change the rules because of him. If you wear shoes, you can't kick her knee, but before he'd kick guys in the face with shoes. Dude. And that's why one of the reasons why I do like Manel Kopp is he is just a brash individual. It's expected. That's why I'm not too annoyed, but I'm like, come on. God, bringing back the 90s. Yeah, Manel Kopp is like Manel Kopp is like, yo, we should persecute these people even more. When gay marriage was legalized, Manel Kopp fell to his knees and cried. Next up at 185, we talked about some middleweights before. Abu Izatar and Cedricus Dumas. SD gets it done in the scorecards. I really like the development in Cedricus. We see some guys have flashier striking backgrounds, especially in their come up like Cedricus did. And now he's incorporating a lot of grappling, a lot of wrestling, which is not fan friendly. Let me make that real clear. I think that it's not a fan friendly style, but I think it's necessary. I think it's necessary for development, and it shows that these guys are still learning and adding tools. And another great example of this is Mark Casey, right? The Bone Crusher. That guy was one of the most fun lightweights, a flashy striker. But the last couple of fights, he has dedicated himself to grappling and improving upon it and then applying it in the ring, integrating it into his style. I'm not saying that these guys should stick with it forever, but if they want to spend a couple of their fights, really trying to learn the ropes and test out these new grappling skills and these new techniques in the ring to then get to a point where they're more well-rounded and they can open up more and they can get back to the striking or just become a better mixed martial artist, I would be hypocritical to condemn them. I would be a dick to go against that approach. I hope Mark Casey comes out in a year or his next couple fights and is comfortable throwing flashy movements and incorporating more of the striking because he's not afraid of the grappling anymore, right? That's what you hope, and I think Dumas is on that same track. I'm very surprised Dumas got it done. Was not a fan of him in the regional, but credit where credit is due. And maybe I'm misremembering like Cedricus's regional performances. I thought, and especially with his Contender Series fight, I thought that he was, Mr. Striker, Mr. Finishes. And then obviously, turned into a striker against Cody Brundage and now Abu. And Abu is weird. I mean, the inactivity of Abu Azaitar. I don't rate him that highly. Otman Zaitar's brother, I think, is a lot better, but still not the best. You know, we see a lot of brothers in he crushed cans. Yeah, that's fair. I think that's a fair critique. Resume wasn't the most high level, but that can be said about Abu as well. And unless, again, I'm gonna double check this. Unless I'm misremembering, let's go to Captain Morocco's Tapology. Yeah, so lost the mark Andre Barrios in 2021. Before that, 2018, and then some inactivity from 2014 to 2015. Not too pronounced, but yeah, I mean, taking a lot of time off 2018 to 2021, and then now dropping 2 fights. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think Boo and Ottman are in that same category. You hear about the UFC brothers who went full GTA in Thailand? No. What group of guys was this? Thailand, you can do that shit. I mean, I was just in Phuket on some work with Fight Circus not too long ago, and it is a lawless place. You can pretty much get away with doing fucking anything in Thailand. Early prelims, Mike Breeden knocks out Anshul Jubilee. Jubilee looked great, man. Jubilee looked good for the first 2 rounds. I liked what he was mixing it up with, but Mike Breeden, what a dog. Quite literally fucking barking at him. Insane. Breeden needs to be locked up in the kennel. And just a great finishing sequence. I mean, I think it was a cross lead uppercut and then into a right hook that just snuck by the guard, and Jubilee went out. And, you know, it was a bummer because I know the UFC wanted a lot of their Middle Eastern representatives to win in Abu Dhabi, and obviously with Anshul Jubilee, he was victorious in the debut, I think, in February, and now fighting on some more familiar territory with some more home audience, I would say. I know he's not from Yas Island, Abu Dhabi, but it's in that neck of the woods part of the world. To get upset like that, not what the UFC wanted, but Mike Breeden, congrats for him. Ashkabov and co. held a man hostage for a few days and robbed him. What the fuck? That ain't full GTA. That is like Black Ops 2. That is insane. Why the fuck were they holding someone hostage? That's fucking hilarious. Such a good regional fighter, but not UFC level. Jubilee had good offense, no defense, and no gas tank. Exactly. Yeah. No defense, and the cardio was certainly working against him in that 3rd round. And I think also mentality. You know, you saw Breeden come on strong. You saw Mike Breeden rise to the occasion, and Jubilee wasn't able to meet him there. I think like he met some adversity and crumbled. So for me, with Anshul Jubilee moving forward, if you put him against a guy, and this is the same, guys, if you remember, this is the same play out that we had with Brady Highstand and Dana Bakary. You know, Dana's got power in the hands and was putting it on Brady, but Brady fights for your money. That guy doesn't give up and was able to get the stoppage in round 3. Much like Mike Breeden, getting 2 up for 2 rounds and then just comes back and says, fuck it, I'm winning this or dying. Jubilee didn't have that same energy or mentality. Maybe he'll learn that. Maybe he'll, from this point forward, go, you know what? I need to dig deeper. I need to unlock that next gate if we're talking about Naruto and fucking Chum Lee. What was his name? Not Chum Lee. Definitely. That's the guy from Pawn Stars. I think my mic might have come out there. Not Chum Lee. Definitely not Chum Lee. Rock Lee, I believe. I made a video on it. I'll send it to you. Dude, shoot it over to me. This guy had money, watches, drugs. Half of India joined my live chat while streaming. They were pissed. Like I said, one of the Lees, man. One of the fucking Lees in Naruto. I would be pissed too. I mean, if I was Indian and I would go, listen, we haven't had many Indian representatives at that level in mixed martial arts. To see another one get knocked the fuck out, I'd be like, God damn it, bro. Oh, some Chianti just went in my fucking eye. We get to the next fight. We talked about this earlier, gang. Nate Wood and Muhammad Naimov. This is my most frustrating fight of the night. Maybe you could share that sentiment with me. I watched this one. Oh, am I just coming through the computer right? Fuck, no. No. Okay, check. There we go. God damn it. You pay so much money for these dumb fucking microphones, and they just don't work. So Nate Wood and Muhammad Naimov, let's talk about this one, man. So many fouls, so many just blatant breaks in the rules from Naimov. And I was a big fan of his after the win over Jamie Malarkey. I was like, what? Who is this underdog? He came out of nowhere, absolutely stomps Malarkey into the ground, was plus 400, 500, 600, God knows whatever it was lined at. And he gets the win here in what was one of the most just brutal displays of rule breaking. Yeah, Muhammad, remember the foul, Naimov. That's a great way of putting it. And for Nate Wood, I feel awful. Nate is a huge prospect. That's it. I think that's literally his fucking nickname as well. And at 135, he was depleting himself. At 145, I felt like he found his flow, dude. Just tuning up Andre Touchy-Feely and Charles Jourdain in their fight. I was like, big power, super athletic. The speed is incredible. And Muhammad Naimov just stunk. He just stunk it up. He just stunk it up, guys. I don't know how else to say it, but like after this fight, I'm really not looking forward to Naimov. But he stepped on the gas too late. I agree. You know, I think he got grounded a lot in round one, and maybe that shook the confidence, and he wasn't able to put the pedal to the metal like he typically is. There's definitely some validity in that. Would need to stop grappling actually strike like he did in the third. Yes, you know, it's a tactical adjustment. It's a game plan adjustment. It's a, you know, as much as I'm shitting on Naimov, it is kind of on Wood to show up and show out, and wasn't able to. So fair enough to Naimov, but I'm still looking forward to Nate Wood, and I still think that Nate has a brighter future at 145 than Naimov does. All right, we get into our second fight of the night between Victoria or Victoria. I think I'm too far away from my computer to see if there's an L in there. Dudikova and Jinyu Fry, who falls to 11-10. Can we get Jinyu Fry out of the UFC? Sorry, I don't want to be a dick. I don't want to be a fucking dick. But Jinyu Fry was 11 wins, 9 losses coming into this. How is that UFC level? You've lost literally half your fights. That's not UFC fucking level. Bloody butt Dudikova. Yeah, the staph infection on her ass or whatever. She was like, I don't want to talk about this. And that's, I mean, I've got two schools of thought. You guys can be with me or be against me. That's why, yeah, so that we can get the 8-0 now. Victoria Dudikova, still undefeated, gets a win in the UFC. Whatever. Who cares? I don't rate it. I don't fucking rate it, dude. But yeah, staph infection, Dudikova, fighting through it. Man, I mean, pushing past the adversity that she's dealing with in camp. And, you know, a lot of people in mixed martial arts pick up staph infections. It's the name of the game. I had a kid last night. Or maybe 2 nights ago, whenever I called Flex, that had a staph infection, and he fought through it. So there's that school of thought. But also, that's disgusting. How does the athletic commission not see that and go, yeah, we're not allowing this in the ring. We're not going to allow your staph infection ass to just be grinding around the octagon for 15 minutes. No. How is that? I mean, well, the athletic commissions aren't checking her ass, are they? They're not fucking, you know. I guess that's fair. I don't know. I shouldn't be the one commenting on this. I shouldn't be the one creating the dialogue on these staph infections. Not that her weight is an excuse, but she's so small for that division. Yeah. And that is the thing, man. I wish that the UFC cut featherweight and then included atomweight. I feel like there's a lot more atomweights out in the world that are high level and competitive and fun to watch than women's featherweights. Kind of the same argument that we had with men's flyweight. You know, again, they wanted to cut the flyweights 5 years ago, and now look at it. It's one of the most fun divisions. Shout out to Connor Burks from the MMA Hour for the flyweight unders. The expectations that these don't go the distance. So I don't know. I think women's atomweight would be a little bit more valuable than women's featherweight. Maybe that's a crazy thought. Buddy, who fought the Indian guy also had Staff. Yeah, fucking Breeden had Staff as well. I get trying to push through and still needing to make money, but if you are the first fights in the card, especially, 100%. Like, you are literally the second fight. Every other fight now has to go through your Staph infection, and that's just stupid. That's just fucking stupid. So I don't know, but you make a really great point. I mean, show win, and we've been training for 12 weeks. Like, we need to fight and get this money, get this paper, baby. Women in atomweight actually fucking go at it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. City Life Project knows, man. They're dogs. You look at the Invicta atomweight division, and they are dogs. I love the atomweights. I think that it's stupid that we are incorporating women's featherweight, which, at this point in time, at present, features a lot of, I don't want to say not skilled or not technically sound individuals, but yeah, we got to get this atomweight division in. Invicta, yes, October 27th. I think they're in Boston. I lobbied to be the play-by-play, but they went with other people. That's fine. I don't take offense. I just get annoyed. Whatever. I don't give a fuck. You're welcome to jump on the stream for a bit too. I'll be covering it. Yeah, man. If it works out, we got to chat about the beer. We got to chat about the stream. Yeah, make sure hit me up, man. We'll figure it out. We've arrived at the first fight of the night. However, in other news, we've arrived at Shara the Bullet Magomedov and Bruno Silva, and I wasn't impressed. Sorry, I wasn't impressed by Shara Magomedov. Great striking. I mean, really exceptional hands and feet, but god-awful takedown defense. If Bruno Silva is taking you down, a lot of these middleweights are going to fucking kill you. They're going to destroy you. So this was one of those debuts where I'm left thinking that there's a fraud check in the future. There's a fade opportunity in the future. He looked exactly like he looked on the regional. Yeah, no development, no improvement, no rising to the occasion. It's what you see is what you get. And 12-0, I mean, congrats. He's never lost. No one's ever been able to get the better of him. So good for you. But yeah, I'm not sold. He kicks like super like and Senshai in the pocket, high kicks, but no wrestling, zero wrestling. Yeah, but to your point, I mean, he does take those risks in that phone booth range and like throwing shots like that. Oh, my nose is itchy. Throwing shots like that at that range is ballsy. And I give him credit for going for those attacks at that distance, but it just doesn't show a high amount of fight IQ, right? You think about it. I've got no takedown defense. Let me throw a kick in the range where someone's going to take me down. I mean, let me throw a kick in the most opportune moment for someone to take me down. That doesn't make sense to me. Usually, if you have a deficiency, you'd want to hide it or protect it or create weapons that can work around it. But yeah, he's not doing that. And City Life, great point. He's a Muay Thai guy at the end of the day. He is oh God, dude, my nose is, I'm not picking it. We're not diving into the nostrils on camera. We are touching the exterior. We're not diving in. Not yet. No, I think he's a striker. He's a purebred striker at the end of the day. And I don't see him going deep in the division or having a lot of success at the top of the UFC, which is fine. Like, again, I'm not tied to this narrative that if you're in the UFC, you need to be trying to be the champion. If you're in the UFC and you want to be an action fighter, more power to you. I love watching Drew Dober fight. I don't know if he's ever going to be a champion. I don't care. Anytime I see Drew Dober on the card, I'm signing up to fucking watch it. Same with Rafael Alves, who unfortunately is no longer in the UFC. Just picked up a win on the regional scene. True homies know Alves got it done, I think by way of submission, like 2 weeks ago or something. But yeah, there's some guys where I'm like, I'm not expecting you to be the most well-rounded. I'm not expecting you to be a pound for pound great. I just like watching you fight. Shara might be in that same category. You know what I mean? Shara might be in that same category where we put him against strikers and we have a good action brawl. Zabit had unreal takedown defense. Zabit Magomedsharipov is the biggest what if in mixed martial arts. I'm not going to say history, but one of the biggest what ifs. He was so talented, and I am just truly bummed that we didn't get to see what Zabit could do against the top guys. Zabit versus Max Holloway. I mean, that had all the makings of a barn burner. And the cardio was always the issue, right? The cardio was always the question with Zabit, but nobody was able to stop him, even with that. That's me and Jung Young Park, the Iron Turtle. Iron Turtle's good, but not great everywhere, but he's so dangerous for up-and-comers. Exactly. Yeah, man. I mean, Park turns away people. Again, same thing with Tim Elliott. You have to be something good to get past him. And Jung Young Park, he's a funny guy. My guy is RoboCop. Gregory Rodriguez. That's my guy where I'm like, okay, he's probably going to be fringe top 15 for the majority of his career. But every time RoboCop is in there, it's going to be a banger. A banger. Think about the fight with Kennedy in Nzechukwu. Never going to learn how to pronounce it. I feel awful. I should know how to pronounce it. But he is just a true pleasure. How old is he? Gregory? Fuck, I don't even know. Like 36, 34? He's in the 30s. Could you imagine if we look up how old RoboCop is and he's like 25? That'd be too funny. Okay, that was the UFC 294 recap. We're not stopping now. We've got about an hour 20. He's 31? What? No, he's not. Delilah, you gotta move. I have to Google the age of these fighters. I've got some other topics I want to talk about. Oh, let me read you guys what comes up when you Google Gregory. Gregory Peck, Gregory Harrison, Gregory Hines, Gregory Isakov, Gregory Funeral Home, Gastonia, North Carolina, Gregory Smith, and Gregory Porter. I don't know any of these Gregorys. I only know Gregory Rodriguez, who is... Oh my God, he is 31. That is fucking ridiculous. Yeah, you're right. He's 31 years old. He looks older than Obama when he's 31. He does, man. Obama cop. Robama cop. No, my dog, I don't know if you guys, you guys can't see Delilah. She's hogging this little, here, I'm going to put you up here. I want to put you right there. I'm going to let you get comfortable right up there. All right. So here's a couple other topics that I want to discuss and, softball back at you guys. So, Flex Fight Series 28, Night of the Fighting Dead, concluded, wrapped up that commentating gig. And, mixed feelings because some fights were great. I've got a really good relationship with a lot of the fighters. I've been calling, their fights since February. So, I've seen a couple guys in the cage several times. And one matchup, I wish they put it on YouTube because I could just give you guys the link and you guys could go watch the 15 minutes or whatever it is. But it's Darren LaMantia and Sergio Rivera. So Rivera, the Hellhound, he's 30 years old. Darren, the Cobra LaMantia, is 20. And it was a great test. We talked about new guard and old guard. It was a great test of a guy who's been around the scene for a decade competing and Darren who's just getting into it and having a lot of success with it. Sergio Rivera told us he's going to get a second-round arm triangle, ends up getting a third-round arm triangle, comes over. He came over to the booth, and shouted through the cage. He's like, I was around late, but I got it done. And, he's a great guy. And Darren's a great guy as well. And it was a weird position for me as a play-by-play because, and I've had this happen several times. I've had some of my friends fighting each other. And I've never been used to it. I don't think I'm going to get used to it. But part of me not prefers it. Hold on. Let's walk this back. I don't prefer my friends fighting each other. But I celebrate both of them so much while I'm on the call. I really ham up every moment that either of them has. And, my passion for the call is really inflated because of my investment with both of their futures. And, you have to be, and City Life, if you've been calling shit, then you know exactly probably where my head's at with this. You have to be so cognizant because the moment that a result happens, a knockout happens, a submission happens, if you're if you're audibly like bummed in the booth, I mean, if you're audibly sitting there like, we're like, and he gets it done. No, like you can't do that. And that's like I was working with one. I'm not gonna name the name because I like the guy and he's a UFC Hall of Famer. But a show a while back, and he was the promoter, and a lot of his fighters were from the gym that he owns and operates. So naturally, he's got some vested interest in their success, and you could just tell like he's audibly frustrated and sad about some of the results. And you can't have that. You can't have partiality. You have to be very, very bipartisan. You got to ride the fence. And that's almost why I not enjoy, again, that's not the right word, but like when my friends fight each other, it's, tough to see one of my friends lose. But man, I'm like, I get to sing the praises of all of them up until that moment. And I get to put that exclamation point on the call. And yeah, it was a great fight too. I mean, it was a really good showing from both guys, so I was happy with it. But 27 fights. I was calling 27 fights. I was live for 11 hours. And there was a lot of stuff that I would love to get into here. 'Cause it's so tough. I learned how to be neutral calling junior hockey on my channel. It's my opinion, so I'm a bit less neutral. But honestly, there's only 2 to 3 fighters I emotionally invest in. No, that's completely fair. Yeah, and like I think maybe at the UFC level it'll be different. On the regional scene, when I go to these fight weeks, you spend some time with these dudes, and there's hi yo's. Oh, you're sweet. Oh, you're sweet baby. Hi. There's just a different. Oh, she wants to come down. Oh. Yes, not. He's not. Hey, I didn't say his name. No, I love Uriah, but it's true. Whenever you had one of those, you had a Team Alpha Male guy lose. He was so bummed in the booth. Everyone I interview that I end up rooting for, I feel the same way. I feel the same fucking way. But yeah, I mean, on the regional scene with the sacrifices that these guys are making and the lives that they live outside of the cage, I don't know. It builds something different, and at the same time, like for me, I don't listen. I try not to tap myself in the back too often. I try not to inflate myself. We're all on the same level and whatever. We're all just hanging. We're all boys. But I really impress myself at times because I'm like, I know both of these guys very well, but I'm calling this right down the middle. Sergio Rivera texted me earlier. Let me read the message he sent me. Because we're talking about it, let me read the message that Sergio sent. Because it almost made me cry. It almost made me cry. Where is it? Right here. So we were chatting after his win, I was like, yo, congrats, on the big win. So proud of you. And I saw both him and Darren at the venue. I was like, yo, excellent performances. So he texted me today at 2 p.m. Yo, what's good, brother? Just rewatched the fight again and was able to hear the commentary and just wanted to reach out and say thank you. The 2 fights you've called of mine, you've given me a fair shake and actually did your research. A lot of people see my mixed martial arts record and think I suck, which I understand on paper, but I can tell you that you actually took a second to check the timeline and see where most of the losses happened. I know Flex was trying to build Darren up off me with the matchup, and a lot of people wrote me off, so I really appreciate all the kind and true things that you said during the match to not make it seem so one-sided. It really means a lot. I don't know if any fighters have ever told you this, but you're 100% fair in all your calls, and I appreciate that. You're the fucking man, and I can't wait to see how far you make it in this game, brother. Also, massive shout out for bringing up my dogs, Kogo and Shogun. They watched the fight with me and perked up when you said their names. It was fucking incredible. um, I I don't know, man. Like, I'm not gonna get emotional here. I've been drinking a lot of Chianti. We've been going for about 90 minutes now. But like stuff like that is so validating and impactful and motivating, and it just really makes you want to do better. And my objective, and what I told Sergio is, I was like, anytime that someone watches back a fight that I call of theirs, I don't want them to mute the commentary. I want them to go, man, I trained 8 weeks of my life for this camp, and I had a lot on the line. This is my career. This is my life. And the commentators brought that same energy. The commentators brought that same passion and intensity. That's all I want. I just want them to feel like they're loved. They're loved the same amount that they love it, if that is phrased okay. if that's all right. But yeah, it's, I think the operative term is fair shake, because I gave Darren a lot of love in that too. I gave both of them, propped both of them up. And that's like why when I talk about my friends fighting each other, I go, or friends, I mean, people I know well and have a good relationship with, and I'm connected with, because I get to build them both up, and I've seen their journeys, and I'm so passionate about how far they've come, and now they get to test themselves against each other. So I don't know. I mean, again, my goal, I haven't really kept it hidden. My goal is lead play-by-play of the UFC one day, and I think in some part of my mind a while ago, I was like, yo, if I'm at that level and I'm around these guys all the time, and I'm on that platform with them, I'm going to develop these relationships. Like, how am I going to balance that? And doing it on the regional scene, I'm like, yo, I can do it. And it's almost better when people I like and people I have called shit before fight each other, because the call gets better. There's more passion associated with it. If I don't know you, I'm not going to be able to call you that well, right? When the Diaz brothers camp guy beat Faber's guy in the main event, my chat was so pumped. I knew which show you were talking about. I was live for that one. Yeah, man. Hey, Uriah Faber's A1 13, 14. I think, I can't remember exactly which one it was. It was funny. And the bout that I was referencing in my mind was Bruno Souza versus Teruto Ishihara. Because, and this is the same thing, I know Bruno from his karate combat career. Every fight of his, I was at KC for, and we did a lot. I mean, we partied a lot. We DM'd a lot. I know his girlfriend pretty well. I think it's his wife, actually, or fiance. One of the three. But I know Teruto as well. Like, Teruto's last fight at XMMA before that, I worked that, and we hung out a lot after the card, and he's such a funny guy. So when I saw them matched up and I was doing play-by-play for it, I was like, oh, this is a real good clash of guys I enjoy. And Faber, trains Teruto, and he was bummed that Souza. I mean, who knows? Fury versus Ngannou prediction. So I think that Tyson Fury is going to crush. I think he's going to crush Francis Ngannou. It's not going to be close. I don't think that it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a long fight. I think it's going to be very quick. Francis maybe gasses out after a couple flurries, and Fury just kills him. You know what I mean? It's fucking hilarious, that this matchup was made. And hey, all props to Ngannou. He's getting paid a ton for this. And Tyson's active, I guess. He'll get a big payday, and hopefully he'll fight Usyk. But yeah, I think fear is gonna kill him. Yeah, dude, it's the job of the moment, and then after you can go back to being empathetic, sympathetic. No, exactly. It's like a different mindset. You're in a different gear when you're in that booth and on the mic, and then afterwards, yeah, I'm like when I was running to the bathroom, ran into both Sergio and Darren, hugged them, gave them a lot of love. Um, you get it, yeah. I mean, city life. I feel like I'm telling city life a lot of stuff that he already feels and knows. Um, so many regional fighters. Oh, there's a mosquito. Fuck, that's a big ass mosquito. It's just bouncing around. Why do mosquitoes hit the walls? This is what I never understood. Why are they bouncing off the walls? They have eyes. They have fucking eyes. They should know. Oh, I lost it. Well, now I'm scared. Now I'm fucking spooked. How do they not see the walls coming though? Man, so many regional fighters and their families reach out to me and thank me. I was asking for what, and they simply say for highlighting my fight or my family members' fight. Yeah, yeah, man. Like it's the love of the game. It's the love of the fucking game. It's cool. I'm procrastinating work, and I saw you're streaming. It's been a slice of hanging. Dude, no worries. Like this is why I'm you know this is why I'm doing the live streaming with MMA Uncensored. Is we saw MMA Guru and his astronomical rise and the engagement that he gets and the active chat that he has, and we want to build something similar, and I want to try and build something similar, and the more community that we can build here on MMA Uncensored, the better. And I'm trying. I'm not. I don't know. I don't want to say the most not qualified. Like it's just live streaming. It's in front of a mic. We do that all the time. But I just want to build the community here and the activity. And Guru rated my chat last month. It was wild. Yeah, I bet, man. I mean, he brings a fucking Jesus. He brings a wacky amount. Honestly, like I should try and get MMA Uncensored to reach out and have him build this YouTube with me. That'd be smart. That'd be smart. Maybe he'd do it. Money Moicano, my man. Hanato. Big Spoiler Smile tries to raise me often. I think that's the thing that I don't have much of a finger on the pulse on is like the YouTube community and the audiences on here. Like I've got Twitter down to a T. That's my main platform. That's the one that I love the most, that I know the best. But YouTube is another beast. I'm trying to build my personal channel. I'm trying to build MMA Uncensored's channel, and there is a level of not flying by the seat of the pants. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I know someone looking for more work, and I am a YouTube consultant. Okay. Hey, tack it on the list of things that we got to chat about over some craft beers. No, it's funny. So me and Ant Evans, who was the former head of UFC Fight Pass, and he does a lot of YouTube work these days now. He's a bud. He's a good buddy of mine, and I've chatted his ear off several times about YouTube and the algorithm and how do you gamify the posting and engagement and drive things through the roof. It's a new skill. I mean, it's a skill, man, and it's what I'm working on. It's what I'm working on. I feel like the live stream is fun. I think it was a good live stream. I think we had fun. I had fun. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Like I think, if you build it, they'll come. And hopefully people will come here. But either way, thank you. Great show. Keep up the great work. My man, there he is. Chris, MMA Uncensored. That's how we do. We're going to close out there. Hour 40 in. UFC 294 in the books. We look ahead. I'll be back on Wednesday doing a stream. So Wednesday at some point in time, tune in because we'll be talking about what's going on in the world of combat sports, how to look ahead. And I'll probably fucking complain about some more bullshit. All right. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.